The hook and suspense. In a time long past, Earth was the center of a mighty empire, a beacon of strength and knowledge in a vast universe. Now that empire lies in ruins, and at its heart sits a forgotten throne, buried under the weight of time and secrets. This is the story of a land abandoned by its people, a throne forsaken, and a mystery that would change everything. Under a dark and starless sky, the remnants of the once great empire whispered stories of glory and downfall. The ground was cracked, and tall broken statues stood as silent guards of a forgotten age. In the middle of a vast empty square, half buried in dust and debris, lay a grand throne. Its stone surface was etched with strange symbols and ancient markings that no one could understand. The throne, once a symbol of power and unity, now served as a reminder of a secret that had been lost to time. A lone traveler named Erin wandered into this desolate place. He had heard legends of a hidden truth buried beneath the empire's ruins. With each step, the sound of his footsteps echoed in the empty space, as if the past itself was calling out to him. Erin was not a mighty hero or a powerful warrior. He was an ordinary person with an unyielding curiosity and a brave heart. His eyes, full of wonder and determination, scanned the broken landscape until he saw the faint glimmer of something unusual. Near the throne, half hidden among the rubble, lay an old battered chest. Erin knelt and carefully brushed away the dust, revealing carvings similar to those on the throne. The carvings told a story of a time when the empire was united under a great ruler who sat on this very throne. But then, something terrible had happened. A mysterious force, dark and unknown, had swept over the land and shattered the universe. The ruler had been lost, and with him, the hope of an entire civilization. As Erin opened the chest, a soft glow filled the small space. Inside, he found a tattered scroll and a small, intricately carved key. The scroll was old, its ink faded but still legible, telling of a secret so powerful that it could either restore the empire or plunge the universe into endless darkness. The key, on the other hand, seemed to be a piece of a larger puzzle. Its design matched the symbols on the throne, hinting at a hidden mechanism that might unlock the mystery of the Forsaken Seat. The air around Erin grew colder, and the silence of the ruined empire deepened. It was as if the very stones of the old palace were whispering warnings. He could feel a strange energy in the air, a mix of fear and promise. The secret was powerful, and it did not want to be uncovered by just anyone. Yet Erin felt an undeniable pull toward the throne, as if it were calling him by name. In the distance, dark clouds gathered, and the wind began to howl through the empty corridors of what was once a bustling city. Erin's heart pounded as he realized that he was not alone. Shadows moved at the edge of his vision, and he could almost hear the faint sound of footsteps following him. The empire's ruins were not entirely empty. Something was watching him, something that had guarded the secret for centuries. With the key in his hand and the scroll tucked safely in his pack, Erin approached the throne slowly. Every step was filled with both hope and fear. He reached the base of the throne, where the intricate carvings formed a perfect circle around a small key-shaped slot. The designs on the key matched those on the stone, and it seemed that destiny had led him to this moment. Erin inserted the key into the slot. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a low rumble shook the ground, and the ancient mechanism began to move. The symbols on the throne started to glow with a soft, blue light, illuminating the dark chamber around him. The glow grew brighter, revealing hidden inscriptions on the walls that spoke of a great power, a power that once ruled the universe and was now hidden away, waiting to be found. But as the light grew, so did the sense of danger. The very air crackled with an energy that Erin had never felt before. He could feel the weight of history pressing down on him, the burden of a secret that could either save or doom everything. The sound of distant, echoing footsteps returned, louder this time, as if the shadows had become bolder. Erin knew that he had awakened something that had been sleeping for a long time. In that moment, the Forsaken Throne was no longer just a relic of a bygone era. It was a beacon, calling out to those who dared to seek the truth. Aaron stood there, caught between fear and determination. He knew that uncovering the secret would mean facing dangers beyond his wildest dreams, but the promise of restoring the lost glory of his people was too great to ignore. The ancient mechanism of the throne continued its slow dance of light and stone, and the secrets of the empire began to unfold before Aaron's eyes. The scroll in his pack trembled as if alive with the energy of the past, and he could almost hear the voice of the old ruler urging him to press on. With a deep breath, Aaron took the first step into a mystery that would change not only his life, but the fate of the universe itself. And so, under a sky that remembered the old days, the journey began. A journey to rediscover the lost power of a forsaken throne, to unveil a secret that had shattered the universe, and perhaps to restore hope where all seemed lost. The terrifying secret emerges. As the blue glow from the throne's ancient mechanism filled the chamber, Aaron stepped back in awe. The light revealed more than just old carvings. It brought to life hidden images on the walls. The symbols danced and shifted, forming a moving tapestry that told a tale of unimaginable horror and wonder. The images showed a time when Earth's empire was at its peak. In those days, the throne was not only a symbol of power, but a center of cosmic knowledge. Ancient leaders used it to protect the balance of the universe. However, one fateful day, a dark force emerged from the depths of space. This force, unknown and terrifying, brought chaos and destruction. The universe, once in harmony, was shattered into pieces. Aaron watched as the images grew more vivid. He saw the great ruler sitting on the throne, holding a mysterious orb that pulsed with energy. The orb was a key to a power beyond mortal understanding, a power that could control the very fabric of reality. But as the orb's light grew too bright, it unleashed a wave of destruction that swept across galaxies. Stars exploded and planets broke apart. The empire, once united and strong, crumbled under the force of this cosmic disaster. The moving images on the wall began to merge with sounds. Soft, echoing whispers filled the room. The whispers told of the secret kept hidden for generations. The orb was not just a source of power, but also a curse. Its energy, if not controlled, could trigger events that would rip apart the universe again. The ancient texts, which the scroll had barely hinted at, warned that the secret of the orb must never be fully revealed. Yet, here it was, set in motion by the activation of the throne. Aaron's heart pounded as he realized the true magnitude of what he had uncovered. The light from the throne began to pulse faster, almost as if it were alive. With each pulse, the images on the wall became clearer. He saw the faces of those who had tried to control the orb, some full of hope and determination, others twisted by fear and greed. The ruler who once sat on the throne had made a desperate choice: to seal away the orb's power, locking it within the ancient seat of Earth so that no one could misuse it again. But sealing the orb came at a terrible cost. In order to trap its power, the ruler had to sacrifice much of the empire's strength, leaving Earth vulnerable to the dark forces that lurked in the corners of the universe. The ruler's last act had been to scatter pieces of the orb's essence throughout the cosmos, hoping that they would never come together again. Yet the images suggested that even this desperate measure could not completely stop the spread of chaos. As the revelations unfolded before him, Aaron felt a mix of fear and resolve. The chamber seemed to vibrate with the power of the past, and the whispers grew louder, echoing the warning that the orb's secret was dangerous. He carefully unrolled the tattered scroll again, searching for any clues that could help him understand the full story. The faded ink now appeared to shimmer in the blue light, revealing more details. The scroll spoke of a hidden guardian, a being born from the combined hope and despair of the ancient empire. This guardian was meant to watch over the orb's secret, ensuring that its power would never be misused. The images on the wall shifted once more, showing a figure cloaked in light and shadows standing before the orb. The guardian's eyes shone with both sadness and determination, as if carrying the weight of the entire universe on their shoulders. The figure was the last protector of the Empire, destined to return when the orb's power was needed to restore balance. Yet the scroll warned that if the orb ever awakened fully, the Guardian would be forced to make a heart-wrenching decision, one that could mean salvation for some and doom for others. Outside the chamber, the wind picked up again, carrying with it the sound of distant thunder. It was as if nature itself was reacting to the awakening of the ancient secret. Eren felt the chill of the wind against his skin, and the air seemed charged with energy. Every sense told him that time was running out. The dark force that had once shattered the universe might still be lurking, waiting for the moment when the orb's power would be unleashed once more. With a steadying breath, Eren moved closer to the glowing throne. He understood now that the secret he had uncovered was not just a piece of the past. It was a living, breathing warning for the future. The throne, with its intricate carvings and pulsating light, was a relic of both hope and terror. It held the memory of an empire that had tried to protect the universe from its own ambition and the dark power that could consume everything if left unchecked. In that quiet, charged moment, Eren made a silent promise to himself. He would learn all he could about the orb, the Guardian, and the dark force that had brought so much sorrow to his people. The secrets of the Forsaken Throne had emerged to show him a path forward, a path filled with danger, but also with the possibility of redemption. The ancient mechanism's soft glow was a beacon, urging him to step deeper into the mystery, to face the terror of the unknown, and to fight for a future where the universe might once again find peace. Thus, the terrifying secret emerged from the shadows of history. Eren, now more than ever, felt the weight of his destiny. The journey had only just begun, and the path ahead was as uncertain as it was dangerous. But with the truth revealed before him, Eren knew that he could not turn back. The fate of the universe lay hidden in the depths of this forgotten secret, and he was now its reluctant keeper. The unexpected hero steps in. As the blue light faded from the ancient walls, Eren stood alone with a heavy heart and a racing mind. The secrets of the orb, the Guardian, and the shattered empire pressed down on him. Though he had been an ordinary traveler with little training, something deep within urged him to rise up. In that moment, destiny called him not as a mere wanderer, but as the unexpected hero who could change the fate of his people. Eren slowly walked away from the glowing throne, each step echoing in the silent corridors of the ruined palace. His mind replayed the images from the wall, the great ruler sacrificing his power, the dark force that shattered the universe, and the Guardian who had once stood to protect the realm. The visions left him both terrified and determined. He knew that if he was to understand the full meaning of these secrets, he had to search for more clues in the vast remnants of the old empire. Before leaving the chamber, Eren took a moment to steady his trembling hands. He reread the faded scroll, his eyes catching new details in the soft light. The words spoke of a hero, unexpected and untrained, who would arise when the empire needed hope the most. Though the scroll did not mention his name, the message resonated with him as if it were meant for his very soul. Leaving the sanctum of the throne room, Eren ventured into the decaying corridors of the ruined palace. The halls were filled with broken statues, shattered relics, and remnants of what once had been a grand civilization. In these empty halls, every shadow seemed to hide a memory. Every creak of old wood whispered secrets of the past. It was here that Eren began to notice signs that he was not the only one awake in this forsaken place. He saw faint footprints in the dust that did not belong to him, and occasionally, a glint of metal caught his eye from behind a fallen pillar. It was clear that others, perhaps friends or foes, were also drawn to the mystery of the orb. Despite the danger, Eren's heart filled with a steady resolve. He decided to follow these traces, hoping they might lead him to allies who shared his passion for uncovering the truth. Not long after, Eren encountered a small group of survivors huddled in a hidden alcove. They were simple folk, farmers, craftsmen, and former soldiers, who had once known the glory of the empire but had now lost hope. Their faces showed fear and weariness, yet when they saw Erin, something in his eyes spoke of determination and a promise of change. In a quiet, gentle tone, Erin introduced himself and shared the story of the Forsaken Throne and the secret of the orb. His words, though simple, carried the weight of a powerful truth. The survivors listened carefully. Among them was Mira, a young woman who had once been a scholar in the great libraries of the Empire. Mira had spent years gathering knowledge about the old ways and was deeply curious about the legends of the orb. Her eyes lit up with cautious hope as Erin recounted the events in the throne room. In her soft voice, she asked, "Could it be that the hero spoken of in our old texts is among us?" Her question, filled with longing and a desire for change, resonated with everyone present. Encouraged by their reaction, Erin explained that the journey ahead would be dangerous but necessary. He spoke of the dark force that might rise again if the orb were fully awakened, and of the guardian whose sorrowful duty was to protect or doom the world. His simple words, free from grandiose promises, sparked a flame in the hearts of these downtrodden survivors. They saw in Erin a leader, not born of noble blood, but someone who cared deeply for the forgotten dreams of their people. Together, they decided to set out on a journey to piece together the remaining parts of the mystery. Mira volunteered her knowledge of the ancient texts and maps, while others offered what little skills they had left: a sharp eye for danger, strong arms to clear debris, and unwavering loyalty. In this small band, Erin found the beginnings of a new community, a beacon of hope that had long been extinguished in the dark aftermath of the Empire's collapse. As the group moved away from the ruined palace, Erin took a moment to reflect on the responsibility that now lay upon his shoulders. He realized that being the unexpected hero was not about strength or fame, but about the willingness to step forward when all others had given up. Every step they took was a small act of defiance against the darkness that had once torn the universe apart. Under the fading light of dusk, Erin and his newfound companions reached an ancient watchtower, one of the few structures still standing. There, on a wall carved with the history of the old empire, they discovered further clues. Symbols that mirrored those on the throne were etched into the stone, and alongside them, new writings hinted at the path to the hidden guardian. These inscriptions suggested that the guardian was not only a protector, but also a guide, one who would reveal the true nature of the orb when the time was right. Erin felt a surge of determination. The journey to meet the guardian, to confront the dark force, and to reclaim the lost honor of their people was just beginning. In his heart, he knew that he might be the hero foretold by ancient scrolls. His simple, untrained self had been chosen not by chance, but by the need of a broken world yearning for hope. In the quiet of that ancient tower, with the last rays of the sun painting the sky in hues of orange and red, Erin made a silent vow. He promised to protect his companions, to seek the truth behind the orb, and to fight against any force that threatened the fragile peace of the universe. This was his destiny, a path filled with danger, mystery, and the chance for redemption. Thus, with the stars beginning to twinkle overhead, Erin and his small band of survivors set out on a new journey. The unexpected hero had stepped forward, and his simple words and brave heart lit a spark that promised to grow into a flame capable of rekindling the lost glory of an empire. A journey into the past. Under a sky washed with twilight, Erin led his small band of survivors away from the ancient watchtower. Their path was lined with crumbling walls and overgrown vines, signs of a long-forgotten era. As they walked, Erin's mind wandered to the days when the empire shone brightly, a time when hope was strong, and the throne was a symbol of unity and strength. The group reached a ruined city square. Here, the remnants of old statues and broken columns hinted at the empire's former grandeur. In the center stood a faded mural on a weathered wall. The mural depicted a great ruler seated upon a majestic throne, surrounded by his people and cosmic symbols. Erin paused before the image, feeling the weight of history in every stroke of the faded paint. This was a story waiting to be uncovered. Erin remembered the scroll he had studied in the ruined throne room. Its words had spoken of the Empire's golden days and of a mysterious event that had brought chaos to the universe. Now, standing before the mural, he felt that the answers to his questions might lie hidden in the past. He gathered his companions and spoke in a soft, steady tone. "Long ago," he said, "this empire was not as it is now. We were proud, united, and our ruler was wise. But then, a great disaster struck, a secret so terrible that it changed everything. To understand our future, we must first understand our past." With that, the group moved toward an old library that lay on the outskirts of the ruined city. The building, though damaged, still held a promise of knowledge. Its tall doors were cracked open, inviting them into a realm of dusty scrolls and ancient books. Inside, light filtered through broken windows, casting long shadows across rows of forgotten wisdom. Erin and his companions began their search among the scattered texts. Mira, with her careful eyes and steady hands, led the effort. She unfurled a brittle scroll that described the rise of the Empire and the power of the throne. The scroll told of an era when the throne was used not only as a seat of power, but as a tool to maintain balance in the universe. The words, though faded, spoke of a cosmic event, a moment when the forces of light and dark clashed, and a mysterious orb played a key role. As Mira read, the group discovered that the orb was more than a simple object. It was a vessel of immense energy, capable of both creation and destruction. In peaceful times, the orb helped to nurture life and maintain harmony across galaxies. But when its power was unleashed uncontrollably, it became a source of chaos, tearing the fabric of the universe apart. The library revealed more than written words. Erin found a series of carved stone tablets tucked behind a shelf. These tablets, though worn by time, depicted the very events described in the scrolls. They showed the great ruler standing beside the orb, his face etched with both hope and sorrow. According to the tablets, in a desperate effort to save his people, the ruler had chosen to seal the orb's power within the throne. This sacrifice, while protecting the empire for a time, had come at a heavy cost. The ruler's strength faded, and the empire slowly began its decline. Erin felt a deep sadness as he examined the tablets. The ruler's sacrifice was clear in every carved line, a sacrifice made out of love for his people, even if it meant his own downfall. Yet the texts also warned of the day when the orb might be reawakened. If its power were to be released again, it could either restore the lost glory of the empire or unleash a new era of destruction. Determined to learn more, Erin decided to explore further into the old city. He led his group through narrow, winding streets where the echoes of the past seemed to whisper secrets. In a small courtyard, they discovered an ancient monument covered in ivy. This monument was dedicated to the hero of old, the unexpected savior who had once risen in the empire's darkest hour. The inscription on the monument read in simple, clear words, "In our darkest hour, one shall rise to bring light and hope." Erin's heart quickened at the thought that this hero might be connected to the destiny foretold in the scrolls. As they walked, Erin and his companions discussed the meaning of these relics. Each new clue deepened the mystery of the orb and the tragic fate of the empire. Mira explained that the texts suggested a cycle, a repeating pattern of rise and fall that had echoed through the ages. "Our past is a map," she said softly, "and if we learn its lessons, we might change our future." The group's journey through the old city was both a physical and emotional passage. With every step, Erin felt as though he was moving closer to a truth long buried by time. The simple, ancient words on the scrolls and tablets spoke of hope, sacrifice, and the heavy cost of power. They reminded him that the past was not just a memory, it was a guide for what lay ahead. In the fading light of the evening, as the group settled near the ancient monument, Erin took a moment to reflect. The journey into the past had revealed both beauty and sorrow. The empire's glory had been built on the strength and sacrifices of its people, and its downfall was a warning for the present. The orb, the throne, and the hero were all pieces of a grand puzzle, one that held the key to either restoring the old order or repeating the same mistakes. Eren looked at his companions, their faces lit by the soft glow of a small fire. He knew that their journey was far from over. The secrets they had uncovered were only the beginning. To save their future, they must first understand the full story of their past. A story of light and darkness, of hope and despair. With a firm resolve, Eren vowed that they would piece together every clue, no matter how painful the truth might be. Thus, as night embraced the ruined city, the group prepared for the next leg of their journey, a quest into the deeper layers of history, where the heart of the Empire and the truth behind the orb awaited discovery. The cosmic conflict intensifies. As the first light of dawn broke over the ruined city, Eren and his band of survivors prepared to leave the library and ancient monuments behind. Their journey had uncovered the secrets of the past, but now a new challenge emerged, one that threatened not only their lives, but the fate of the entire universe. The group stepped out into a world that felt charged with a strange and dangerous energy. In the early morning light, the sky was a mix of soft pink and deep blue. Yet even as the sun rose, dark clouds gathered in the distance. These clouds were not like ordinary weather. They seemed to move with a purpose, as if carrying the weight of an ancient curse. Eren could sense that the force which had shattered the universe long ago was stirring once more. The survivors traveled along a cracked stone path that wound its way through the countryside. The air was still, heavy with silence. Every so often, the ground trembled, and a low rumble echoed in the distance. These signs hinted at a cosmic disturbance, a reminder that the dark power once unleashed by the orb was not entirely contained. Eren's thoughts were troubled. He recalled the ancient texts that warned of a time when the orb's energy might break free, leading to conflict that could tear the universe apart. As the group pressed on, they encountered strange phenomena that set their hearts racing. At one point, they found a field where the grass glowed with a faint, eerie light. In another, a river flowed backward, defying the laws of nature. Mira explained in simple words that these were signs of cosmic imbalance. The orb's scattered essence was beginning to gather in unexpected places, creating pockets of unstable energy. These pockets acted like magnets for both hope and destruction. Not long into their journey, the survivors reached a vast, open plain where the earth itself seemed to hum with power. Here, they encountered a band of warriors clad in makeshift armor. These warriors were not ordinary fighters. They were the remnants of a once loyal guard who had sworn to protect the secrets of the orb. Their eyes were filled with determination and fear. At first, there was tension between the two groups. However, when Eren explained the knowledge they had uncovered about the orb and the looming threat, the warriors slowly lowered their weapons. They, too, had sensed the growing cosmic conflict and knew that unity was their only hope. Together, the survivors and the warriors formed an uneasy alliance. They shared stories of strange encounters and whispered legends of the orb's power. An elder among the warriors spoke of the old days, when the orb was a force for good that nurtured life and balance. But he also recalled the disaster, a moment when the orb's power was lost control, leading to chaos across galaxies. His voice trembled as he recounted how the great ruler had sealed away the orb's power within the throne, sacrificing his strength to protect his people. The elder warned that if the orb's power were to awaken fully, the resulting conflict could destroy everything. With this grim warning in their hearts, the allied group moved toward a region known as the Valley of Echoes, a place where ancient battles had been fought and where the air seemed to vibrate with the memory of conflict. In the valley, the survivors discovered marks on the ground, deep gouges made by powerful forces. These marks were a reminder that the dark energy of the orb was already at work. Shadows flitted at the edge of their vision, and the wind carried faint, almost sorrowful sounds, as if the valley itself mourned past losses. Eren led the group to the center of the valley, where they found a circle of towering stones arranged in a pattern that matched the symbols on the throne. This circle, known as the Stone of Balance, was said to be a focal point of cosmic energy. Mira carefully studied the carvings on the stones, explaining that the ancient texts described how the orb's scattered pieces could be drawn back together here, either to restore the balance or to unleash further chaos. The possibility of a great conflict lay ahead, a battle between those who sought to harness the orb's power for good and those who would use it for destruction. As tensions rose, a sudden, powerful shockwave rippled through the valley. The ground split, and a deep, resonant sound filled the air. From the depths of the earth, a massive figure emerged, a creature born of the orb's dark energy. It was not entirely human, yet not completely beast, with eyes that burned like coals and limbs that moved with an otherworldly strength. The creature's presence sent shivers down the spines of everyone present. It roared, and in that sound was a mix of grief, anger, and hunger for power. The warriors immediately formed a defensive line, their makeshift weapons raised. Arin, with his simple but resolute voice, called for calm and urged everyone to stand together. The creature advanced slowly, its eyes fixed on the stone of balance, as if drawn to the ancient power hidden within it. For a tense moment, neither side moved. The valley held its breath, the silence broken only by the creature's low, rumbling growl. In that charged instant, Arin knew that the time for unity and decisive action had come. The cosmic conflict was no longer a distant legend. It was here, and it threatened to engulf everything they held dear. The survivors, the warriors, and even the echoes of the past gathered their courage. They prepared to face the dark force, determined to protect the fragile balance of the universe. The coming battle would test their strength, their hope, and their willingness to sacrifice for a greater good. With a final glance at his allies, Arin stepped forward to meet the dark creature. The struggle in the Valley of Echoes was about to begin, a fight that would decide whether the orb's power would bring restoration or unleash another era of destruction. The revelation of the universal secret. The battle in the Valley of Echoes raged on. Arin and his allies fought bravely against the dark creature born of the orb's shattered energy. Amid the clash of metal and the roar of the creature, something unexpected happened. The stone of balance, standing at the center of the valley, began to glow with an intense light. The stones vibrated and hummed, and the very ground trembled under the surge of power. In that moment, the dark creature paused. Its fierce eyes, once burning with wild anger, now showed confusion and sorrow. The light from the stone of balance grew stronger, and a gentle yet firm voice echoed through the valley. It spoke of secrets long hidden and a time when the universe was whole. This was not just any sound. It was the voice of the ancient guardian, awakened by the struggle and the need for balance. The guardian's light reached out to both friend and foe. The dark creature's form began to change. Its rough edges softened, and the terrible, wild look in its eyes was replaced with a deep sadness. Slowly, the creature knelt before the stone, as if in submission. The voice explained that the orb's power was not meant for destruction. Instead, it was a force that could restore the universe when used with wisdom and care. Arin stepped forward, his heart pounding. The guardian's words were clear. The orb was a source of great energy that had once nurtured life. But if it fell into the wrong hands, it could bring chaos. The ancient texts had warned that the orb held a secret, a hidden power that could either save the universe or shatter it completely. Now, that secret was being revealed. A beam of light shot out from the stone of balance and gently touched the orb that Arin had discovered earlier. In that instant, images flashed before everyone's eyes. They saw a time when the orb was whole and bright, a time when it brought harmony among the stars. They also saw the great sacrifice of the ruler who had sealed the orb's power within the throne. The ruler had known that the orb could be dangerous if misused. To protect his people, he had locked away its power, scattering its essence across the cosmos. The guardian's voice continued, explaining that the orb's secret was its dual nature. It was a force of creation and destruction. When kept in balance, the orb could heal the universe. bring new life, and restore hope. But if the orb were to be awakened without control, it could cause another great disaster, tearing apart everything once more. Erin felt the weight of this revelation. The orb was not simply a tool of power. It was a living memory of the Empire's rise and fall. The Guardian urged Erin and his allies to be careful. They must gather the scattered pieces of the orb's essence and learn how to use its energy wisely. The path ahead was dangerous, but the reward was the chance to restore balance and bring light back to a darkened universe. Around the glowing stone, the survivors and warriors gathered in silence. The revelation had changed their understanding of the conflict. The dark creature, now transformed into a sorrowful messenger of the orb's power, looked up at Erin. In its eyes, Erin saw a plea, a request to mend the broken pieces of a once-united universe. With a deep breath, Erin nodded. He knew that the journey was far from over. The secret of the orb had been revealed, but its full story was still hidden in the scattered fragments of the past. The Guardian's light faded slowly, leaving behind a promise and a warning. The orb's power was both a gift and a curse, and it was up to Erin and his new companions to choose the right path. In that charged moment, standing in the heart of the Valley of Echoes, Erin made a silent vow. He would gather every piece of the orb's essence, learn the ancient ways of balance, and protect the universe from falling into darkness. The revelation of the universal secret had opened his eyes to a truth greater than he had ever imagined. That hope and destruction were two sides of the same coin, and only through understanding could they forge a new future. Thus, with the orb's secret now clear, Erin and his band prepared to face the challenges ahead. The journey to restore balance had begun, and the fate of the universe now rested in their determined hands. The final stand and hope for renewal. The valley, still echoing with the power of the revealed secret, became the stage for a final, decisive confrontation. With the orb's dual nature now clear, Erin and his allies knew that restoring balance would require a stand against those who would seek to use the orb's power for destruction. The survivors, the warriors, and even the transformed messenger of dark energy all gathered near the glowing stone of balance. Here, every heart beat with a mix of fear, hope, and determination. Erin looked around at the faces of his companions. They were tired and scared by battles past, but in their eyes shone a strong resolve. The ancient texts and the Guardian's voice had shown them that the fate of the universe lay in their hands. United by a common goal, they prepared to face the dark forces that still lurked, waiting to exploit the orb's chaotic energy. As dusk fell over the valley, the air grew still. The ominous clouds that had gathered earlier began to swirl above, as if warning of the final storm. In that tense moment, the ground trembled once more. From the depths of the dark sky emerged a host of shadowy figures, agents of the dark force that had once shattered the universe. They moved silently, their eyes glowing with a malevolent light, determined to seize the orb's power and plunge the cosmos back into chaos. With a firm yet simple voice, Erin addressed the gathered allies. "This is our final stand," he said. "We stand not just for our past, but for our future. We will protect the hope that lies within each of us. Today, we choose renewal over destruction." The warriors raised their makeshift weapons, and the survivors clutched whatever tools they had at hand. Even Mira, whose knowledge had guided them through the pages of ancient texts, stood ready with a quiet, resolute look in her eyes. The transformed messenger of dark energy hovered at the edge of the circle, its sorrowful eyes silently pleading for peace. The clash began as the shadowy figures descended. The valley echoed with the sound of battle, a mix of clashing metal, shouts, and the deep rumble of the earth reacting to the conflict. Erin led his group forward, meeting the enemy head-on. Every swing, every block, was a fight for the future of a universe that had seen too much loss. In the midst of the struggle, the stone of balance continued to emit its steady, guiding light. As the battle raged, that light grew brighter and began to spread across the valley, touching the hearts of friend and foe alike. The ancient carvings on the stone seemed to pulse with a promise that even in the darkest times, hope could be reborn. Slowly, the light started to weave a protective barrier around the defenders, shielding them from the worst of the dark energy. Aaron felt a surge of strength as he fought. Every blow he delivered, and every step he took was fueled by the promise of a renewed world. The Dark Force's agents, taken aback by the growing radiance of the stone, hesitated. That moment of pause was all Aaron needed. With a steady hand, he reached into his pack and pulled out the tattered scroll, a relic of ancient wisdom. Unrolling it, he recited the simple, powerful words that spoke of sacrifice, unity, and the eternal struggle between light and dark. The recitation seemed to work like a spark in dry wood. The guardians of the past, hidden in the very fabric of the universe, answered the call. In that charged moment, the scattered pieces of the Ord's essence began to glow and drift toward the stone. Each fragment, once a potential source of ruin, merged with the light, creating a surge of energy that washed over the battlefield. The shadowy figures shrieked and faltered as the pure energy overwhelmed them, dissolving their dark intent into nothingness. Slowly, the tide of the battle turned. The remaining agents of the Dark Force, unable to withstand the unified power of hope and renewal, began to retreat into the swirling clouds above. The valley, once a theater of impending doom, now shone with the promise of a new dawn. The warriors lowered their weapons, their faces reflecting relief and wonder. The survivors, who had long lost hope, now smiled as they saw the path to rebuilding their world. Aaron, still holding the scroll close to his heart, walked to the stone of balance. He placed his hand upon its cool surface, feeling the pulse of ancient wisdom and the steady rhythm of a universe ready to heal. The guardian's voice, soft and reassuring, echoed one final time. That hope, when shared by many, could mend even the deepest wounds. As the dark clouds dispersed and the first stars of the night began to twinkle, the group gathered in quiet celebration. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged with a renewed sense of purpose. The Ord's secret was now fully understood, a reminder that even the most terrible power could be transformed into a source of light if handled with care and unity. With hearts full of hope and minds clear about the path ahead, Aaron and his companions set out to rebuild what had been lost. The Forsaken Throne and shattered empire would be remembered not as symbols of defeat, but as the foundation upon which a new, brighter future could be built. In every quiet moment that followed, the people of this new era would tell the tale of how, in their darkest hour, they chose to stand together and create a legacy of hope. Thus, the final stand ended not in despair, but in the promise of renewal, a promise that the universe, scared though it may be, could always find a way to heal and shine again.